Alright, so at this point, I'm going to put wireframe on shaded. I switched out of that tool. So at this point, basically, we have our base head here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go out of live mode. So this is going to turn, if I click that up, now there's no live surface. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this to the other side. I'm going to show you how to, now obviously Control D is duplicate, and that could change the scale over here. But instead, I'm going to show you how to set up the duplicate special. So you go to Edit, Duplicate Special, Option Box, and I'm going to switch it. And we'll just reset this. Let's reset settings. I'm going to switch it to instance. Just to give you an idea, what that means is when I do something on one, it does it to the other because it's an instance of it. Okay, so we do instance. And then I'm going to change the scale. This is X, Y, Z to -1. And make sure I got it selected and hit duplicate special. And what it'll do is it will flip it to the other side. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I want to combine these, but if you look, you can see their vertices and stuff are not lined up very well. There's some major overlap here and even some gaps on the front. So I'm going to switch to a front view, and what I'm going to do is, that doesn't work very well at all. Okay, we're going to do this. I'm going to go to Edge. I'm going to double click the edge in the center, and it's going to mostly work except for the mouth. So I'm going to hold Control and Shift. Or I'm sorry, I'm going to hold just Control. And that's going to unselect those. So I click and drag. You can see it turns to a minus. When I hold Shift, it's a plus. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to hold Control. I'm going to click and drag. And I'm going to click and drag while holding Control. Click and drag. And I'm seeing one more. There you go. Hold Control. Okay. So now I have just the center edges. I'm going to hit R for scale. And I'm going to scale this flat. And scale it flat. And scale it flat. Usually do it a couple times. And I'm going to see what it looks like here. And you can see it's off, so I'm going to hold X for grid snap, which snaps it to the grid. So I'm going to snap it to the center. So it might have been overlap, so I'm just going to hold X, drag it out, and snap it back. And now, if you look, it's centered on that. And it moves both of them because the other one is instanced to it, okay? Now, if you want to do some adjustments at this point, which I would, I'm not going to, but normally I would, you can hit 3, and you can preview both. And as long as you do adjustments to one, like I said, it'll do it to the other, so that's cool. But instead what I'm going to do is I'm just going to combine these two. So I'm going to select both pieces of geometry. I'm going to do Mesh Combine, so click on that. And then I'm going to go to Vertex. I'm going to drag over the whole thing. And if I click on this, it's going to, this is Merge, which will merge vertices. But the threshold might not be what I want. So I'm going to go to, where are you? Edit, Mesh, Merge, Option Box. And what you want to do, I'm going to do Edit, Reset Settings. You want to put an extra 0 in here. Right now it's 0.01. Make it 0.001. It just means that it has to be within, what is that, 100th or whatever, in order for it to merge together with the vertices. It makes it, it has to be really close in order for them to merge. If you make it too high, what will happen is that like these will merge together. This requires it to be much closer. So I'll hit Merge. I'm going to right click, go to object mode. I'm going to click back on it, and then I'll hit 3. And you should see that, I'll turn this off, there's no seam, okay, because now they are officially merged together. All right, so that's good. And this is scary looking, but it will do. Okay, so next I need to do is I need to see how many edges are in here. I'm going to turn the body back on. How many edges are in this cavity, and how many do I need for in here? And then I'm going to base it basically off of that. So, what I like to do is go to Mesh Display. I'm sorry, not Mesh Display. Display, Heads Up Display, and I turn on Poly Count, which is what this is here. Okay, so then I'm going to go to Edges, double click. It'll grab all this inside, and you can see the edges I have selected is 20. And then I already know this is 16, but I'll just do it. So this says 16. So that means I have more up here than I do down here. Okay, so I got to lose 4. So one thing I can do is I can do this. I'm going to take this and this one, and I'm going to hit Extrude or Control E, W, pull this, okay, try again, W, pull this back a little, and then I'm going to switch to the target weld, and I'm going to click and drag from this edge to this edge, click and drag from this edge to this edge, Q, and if I double click, you'll see now I have 18. So I cut out some because now it's not going these two in. I put it back this way. So that's a little bit better. I still need to lose 2 more. So could do it a couple different ways. What I'm going to do is try to cut them out of here. All right, so how can we go about doing that? Let's see. So, because it's really dense in here, I don't feel like it needs to be quite that dense. So I'm going to get rid of this. We'll say this one. So I'm going to select that one and this one. So I'm holding Shift and clicking in each of those, and that's not equivalent at all. This one and this one, right? The center of the ear. Okay. Actually, you know what? I want to do this one and this one. I'm going to do the one just outside the center of the ear. So here, here. And I'm just going to hit Control Delete. If I hit Delete, it'll leave the vertices. So I'll just show you. See, there's a vertice still there. Now, if I hit Control Delete, it actually removes the vertice as well, which is what I wanted. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the multi-cut tool, and I'm going to click from here to here, and hit Enter. All right, which left me with a triangle, which isn't what I want, but it's there. So boom and boom, Enter. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold Control and click, and roughly around the middle, and now you can see this is no longer a tri, it's a quad. Okay. And I need to polish this up, but that's the beginning. All right, now I'll go Q, go to Edge, and I'll double click. I have 16. Gloriousness. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach these two just to get that done. So I'm going to select this, hold Shift, select that, and I'm going to click on Mesh Combine. Boom. All right, so now these are part of the same shell. I need to actually combine them. So I'm going to go to Edge, double click this edge, hold Shift, double click this edge, and I'm going to hit Bridge. And it bridged the two. Yay! Alright. Not the greatest looking, but it's there. So you can see there's a huge gap there. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that real quick. I'm going to use the multi-cut tool. I'm going to hold Control, click and drag up kind of tight. Alright, to that one. I'm going to hold, double click on this, and I'm going to use the Slide Edge tool, which I already have on my shelf here, but if you don't have it, go up to Mesh Tools, Slide Edge. If you hold Control and Shift, you can click and it'll be up there. So Slide Edge. And with the middle mouse button, I'm just going to click and drag it up to about halfway. All right, just so that it's partly in the direction. All right, great. So now that face is officially combined with the head. All right, so we do need to make a couple of fixes. One thing is, if I hit 3, you can see he's got kind of a weak nose. Just to help strengthen that up, I'm just going to grab these faces. I'm going to hold Tab to turn into, let's hit Q, W. Okay, I'm going to hold Tab. You have to make sure you're on like one of the other tools here. I'm going to hold Tab, and I'm going to paint select the nose cavity here. And then I'm going to hit Control E for extrude. I'm going to tap one of these little squares. It's going to bring up the proportional scale. I'm going to scale it in a little bit like that. That looks okay. And then I'm just going to go ahead and go to normal scale and go like that. And makes it a little bit stronger. From there, I can extrude more nostrils and stuff. Like if I want to grab some edges and overlap them and stuff. So, for instance, one of the things I often do is I'll grab both of these, scale this in, and pull this up a little bit. Grab that one and that one, scale it in, and then I'll grab this one. Oops, Q. Get in there. This one and this one, and this one and this one. And if I pull these a little bit beyond those two, all right, what you'll get is it'll have a little bit more of a nostril-y look. See how this kind of, but I'd have to actually like extrude some nostrils and stuff, but I'm not going to get too much into that right now. All right. Next is the mouth here. So I'm just going to go to Edge. I'm going to double click. I'm going to hit Control E, W. I'm going to pull this in. So I just have it inside the mouth. That's close enough. Right. So how do I want to wet this eye? All right. So to do the eye, what we're going to do is I'm actually going to make a polysphere, and we'll pull it up here, and I'm going to pull it forward, and I'm going to rotate this. So I'm going to hold J for increment while I rotate, and it's kind of low poly, so I'm going to go ahead and just subdivide this. So I'm going to hit the poly smooth button just to make it a little bit better, and then I'm going to push this back into the head, and I'm going to switch to a front view, and this is going to be my eyeball. Now the reason why I need this isn't going to be a permanent eyeball, it's just for a hold. So I'm going to make it roughly the size of what I feel like the eye should be, which that's kind of big. Okay. Not this side, this side. Okay, W, and this is come out forward like that, we'll say. Is that I'm actually going to model this around that eyeball. So you can see this is too far forward. This is one of the big mistakes that people typically make, is they have this like gap. So I'm going to go to vertices, I'm going to grab this, I'm going to hold B for soft select, and I'll click and drag to the left. My soft select's super tall, super large I should say. And I'm going to go like that, and we're going to go ahead, I'm going to pull that in, make it a little bit smaller, and pull it in. Alright, now I'm going to hit 4 for wireframe, and I'm going to look, and I'm going to grab this one, and this one, this one, and this one. I'm not doing a good job of clicking. That's the one I want. Why, let me select. There you go. Okay. And I'll hit 5 again. I'll make this a little bit bigger. Quite a bit bigger. And then I'm going to take this side. I'm going to pull that forward. So that basically just the corner of the eye makes it. Alright. Then I'm going to take this. And we'll grab this one again and push this back a little bit more. We'll take U. I'm going to B, soft select that, bring that down so it doesn't affect the other ones. And pull that one in. And take this. And pull that in. The idea is I don't want to change the shape from the front, but by pulling them in, what it does is that now if I hit 3, you can see that now it's shaped to the eye, because your eyes are facing forward. They're actually, you're slightly wall-eyed. But one of the things I'm going to do actually is I'm going to take this and I'll make it a bit bigger. Hang on a second. I'm going to go to the settings here and symmetry options. I'm going to go ahead and put symmetry on. So Object X, double click, and I'll push this in a little bit, pull that down a touch, pull that in a little bit. Then I'm going to go to object mode, there we go, and push that back this way a little bit. Alright. And then what you do is you leave that eyeball there, and then subsequently from that you do your modeling. So I might, I got one. Try to make some further adjustments and stuff, okay? Didn't grab what I thought I did. To make it look a little bit, better. It's not done, but what it does give you is more or less a kind of rough face, to some regard, It's not great looking, but it's enough to start. And so what you want to do is you want to model this around. Once you're happy with the eye, just go ahead and grab and hit 1. I'm going to grab these and turn B for soft select off. And then you would just extrude, Control E. I'm going to extrude this in a little bit. Well, I can extrude a whole bunch. And that way when I hit 3, you can see it's got like whatever. Alright. And I might go through, and I probably would for the eyelids in particular here. So I'm going to grab my multi-cut tool, and I will hit Control. And I will take these, and particularly these top ones, and I would actually grab these and move these down and in like that kind of. Probably this one too. Take that and pull that in as well, to give it more of an eyelid kind of a thing. An eyelid, because that's what it looks like. It looks like a scary alien. Needs a lot more work, but you can go from here and basically shape the head. You might even want to go through and go to the sculpting here again. And I use the relax. See where it gets kind of like, I can go to relax. And between using relax and I'm going to turn wireframe on shaded so I can see this better. I'm going to grab this. Relax. Alright. Why work relax? Says, non-manifold geometry. Okay. If you get a thing that says non-manifold geometry, you can try to do mesh cleanup and turn on laminate faces, non-manifold geometry, blah blah blah, and then go ahead and clean up, and then you should try again, and this time it lets me. So if I brush, you'll see what it does is something weird's going on with it. But between using the relax and holding shift for smooth, problem with smooth is that you lose volume, so just be aware of that. But you can try to use that to actually smooth out your modeling. Okay.